Please welcome Chairman Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, Tom Staggs.
Sorry, I'm still channeling a bit of that Jedi thing, I think. Welcome to What's Next. So, are you guys all having a great time this week? Over the last day and a half, we've gone under the sea. We've gone to galaxies far, far away, and we've been transported by a spectacular new parade. Now, as excited as we are about all of these new attractions, we're just as excited about the endless adventures that lie ahead. Walt Disney famously said that Disneyland will never be complete as long as there is imagination left in the world. And as we create new experiences in new places around the world, we find this is never more true today, more true than it is today. We're focused on creating experiences that are vital and relevant, just as we have for the last 55 years. Of course, we want to preserve those great, iconic Disney attractions that our guests love. But we also want to keep pushing the envelope of innovation, technology, and storytelling to develop new attractions, new shows, new venues that will continue to astound, amaze, and delight our guests. Right now, we are in the largest period of growth in the history of Disney parks and resorts. Not only do we have a number of projects in the works, we have a number of really big projects. Really big. As we've come to appreciate, though, that a Disney experience is much more than mansions, castles, or even mountains that we build. A Disney experience truly comes to life when we find unexpected ways to connect with our guests and help them create memories that last a lifetime. Immersing our guests in their favorite stories, wowing them at every turn is what makes Disney, Disney. Whether you're in Southern California, in Orlando, Paris, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Shanghai, or Hawaii, we're always going to be thinking about what's next. So today, we're here to share a few details of some of the very exciting projects, including Aulani, our new resort in Hawaii, that I think will set the new standard for a Hawaiian vacation experience. We'll talk about the Disney Fantasy, which will set sail next spring, sister ship to Disney Dream, which is already delighting guests today. And exciting plans, of course, for what's taking place behind you, Cars Land here at Disney's California Adventure. So I want to thank all of you once again for joining us the last couple of days, and I hope you really enjoy the show. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning as we look towards the exciting future that Walt Disney Parks and Resorts is building. It's time for a very special edition of What's Next? Angela.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. I have truly enjoyed serving as your event tour guide over the past 2 days as we've traveled to the world beneath the sea, back in time to Main Street, USA, and to a galaxy far, far away, with a little stop at the Disneyland Hotel in between. Can you guys believe all the work that's happening over there? It's a lot. Well, we've got one more itinerary in store for you this morning. We are going to take a journey into the midst of the magic that's being designed, created, and built. And we've got some exciting stops ahead for you today. Today, we will be visiting the future of the Disneyland Resort, specifically Disney California Adventure, the high-octane world of Cars Land, the new horizon of the Disney Cruise Line, and the exotic shores of Hawaii. So here to help us begin our journey, please welcome the president of the Disneyland Resort, George Caladrius.
Morning, everybody. Welcome on this beautiful Southern California morning. This is a very exciting time for all of us here at the Disneyland Resort, as we are well over the halfway mark in the second largest expansion in our resort's history. As you'll hear in a few moments, we are working diligently towards our goal, our ultimate goal, of making Disneyland Resort the multi-day destination in Southern California. In addition, our progress continues to bolster the economy of Southern California. Our decision to invest so significantly in the expansion at Disney California Adventure was based chiefly on extensive guest research. We found that our guests were looking for three key elements. First, they wanted a more immersive environment. Secondly, they were in search of more family attractions. And finally, they just wanted more Disney. So while we opened 2 new great attractions during the past 2 days, we have even more to open this summer. In just a few weeks, July 1st to be exact, we'll see the opening of our newest attraction at Paradise Pier, Goofy's Sky School. Inspired by the classic Goofy how-to shorts of the 1940s and 50s, as well as the cartoon short Goofy's Glider, the theme of this coaster is a flying academy with your pal Goofy, with twists and turns and dips as Goofy tries to navigate you through the novice pilots through this new attraction. Also coming to Paradise Pier at the same time are 2 new restaurants, Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta and the Paradise Garden Grill. Themed as authentic family-owned venues, they'll feature great menus offering mouth-watering Italian and Mediterranean cuisine. And that's just the beginning, for as you know, we have a very, very big year ahead of us in 2012. As we speak, the main entrance of Disney California Adventure is in the process of getting a brand new look. This new entrance, modeled after the landmark Pan Pacific Auditorium in Los Angeles, will lead our guests directly into the park. This is an early computer rendering which allows us to fly through the front portion of the park and along Buena Vista Street. At the end of the street, you can see the Carthay Circle Theater, a recreation of one of California's most iconic movie palaces. The Carthay Circle truly epitomizes the golden age of Hollywood. Buena Vista Street is our new thoroughfare into the park, and it ultimately sets the tone with a terrific sense of time and place. As we make our way back to the main entrance, you get a sense of the new space and of the many shops and storefronts that are all themed to the California of yesteryear. While Main Street over at Disneyland is reminiscent of where Walt Disney grew up, Buena Vista Street will give guests a sense of what Los Angeles was like when Walt Disney arrived in the early 1920s. Also included in our expansion will be the Red Car Trolley, based on the Southland's historic Pacific Electric Red Car line. It will transport guests along Hollywood Boulevard and Buena Vista Street. Here's a closer look of the Carthay Circle, which was where Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiered back in 1937. I should mention that it will also contain an incredible new table service restaurant and lounge. So on behalf of the 21,000 cast members here at the Disneyland Resort, we can't wait to share these new experiences with you next year. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for being here today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Walt Disney Imagineering, Vice President and Executive Producer Kathy Mangum, and Senior Concept Writer-Director Kevin Rafferty.
Good morning, everyone. We are so thrilled to be able to stand here and give you not just a preview of Cars Land, but this beautiful, beautiful view into it. And I just want to point out, look how small those guys are up on those Cadillac
Don't they look
vans.
real?
And it's just the scale of this project, the scale of Cars Land is just so incredible, and it is really going to immerse our guests into the world of Cars, into the movie of Cars. We're building Radiator Springs, the town of Radiator Springs, and we've got 3 attractions and merchandise and food, and we're going to take you through the whole thing. It's really going to, we're just so excited. So next year, 2012. So this is a beautiful view. One thing we should point out is it's one of the entrances into Cars Land. You're actually sitting on what will be walkway from Pacific Wharf into Cars Land, but our main entrance is just a few feet down that way to the east, and that is right across from the Blue Sky Cellar, and that is going to be Route 66 going into the town of Radiator Springs, which is what this rendering shows right now. So what we thought we'd do today is sort of walk you down the street, tell you what's going to be in each facility and what each attraction is going to be like, and then take you on a real tour of it. Since we can't go walk it, we're going to do it virtually with a video. So let's get started. Just like in the movie, just like in the real Radiator Springs, the outskirts of town is where Mater lives, in Mater's Junkyard. And we're no different. Outside we will have Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, which is going to, think of it as like a giant square dance where our guests will be pulled around by these really cute baby tractors in these little trailers, and Mater is singing songs the entire time.
Yeah, we're writing brand new songs for Mater to sing, and just so you know, we did a little mock-up of this arrangement at Imagineering. We had a tractor and we hooked up a little trailer to it, and we did a little course that's going to take place in Mater Junkyard Jamboree. And as Mater would say, it's going to be fun!
It's a lot of fun. And here's our little baby tractor and the trailer. This is an actual ride vehicle that we have built and painted up. So you can just see how appealing these guys are going to be out there dancing around. Right across the street from Mater's Junkyard Jamboree is Fillmore's Taste In. And Fillmore, you know, he's all natural. He's a natural guy. So he's going to be serving fruit and juices and nuts. This is a snack food location, but sort of more natural foods. And then he's right next door to his kind of cranky neighbor Sarge at Sarge's Surplus Hut. So a little bit of a Quonset hut out there.
A little more manicured than Fillmore.
Slightly more manicured. A little bit down the way is the Cozy Cones, Sally's Cozy Cones. Now Sally is all about cones. So we've got 5 cones. In the movie, those cones actually serve as motel rooms. In this case, we're going to serve snack food out of each cone. Snack food such as
pop cone, chili cone, carne, and
frozen cone concoctions.
Yeah.
We got a million of them, but we can only do 5.
Sally's having this great food conanza today, so you just happen to be here on the right day.
You'll sit under cone-shaped umbrellas outside and eat your cone food. And then right next door to that is Radiator Springs Curio Shop, a really beautiful little shop that will sell pins and small merchandise, small items. And this is obviously taken from the movie, but we were really propping it out based on some of the Route 66 trips that we took for these wonderful curio shops that you see along the way in Hackberry, Arizona, or Tucumcari, New Mexico.
We had this great, our core creative team went on this Route 66 road trip for research, and we went into all the curio shops and went off the beaten path and met all the people and ate all the food along the way. We had too much pie, but we got to go inside the curio shop, shops along the way. And the great thing about that is in the film, you never really got to go into these places. You didn't get to go into Flo's V8 Cafe and the Curio shop, but you will be able to step into these places and learn a little bit more about the characters, your favorite characters from the film.
So speaking of food, because we did eat a lot of it on Route 66, we've got Flo's V8 Cafe. Wonderful food that has been inspired by what you get on Route 66. A lot of comfort food, a lot of macaroni and cheese, really savory sandwiches, and one thing that we fell in love with was pie, a lot of pie.
And inside of Flo's, we get to learn the backstory of Flo when she was part of the Motorama Girls, the touring group out of Detroit. And so we get to see a lot of her gold records and the posters from their tours. And also as part of that, Doc's Museum is going to pay tribute to Doc Hudson, Fabulous 51 Hornet, and you'll be able to see all his backstory within the dining area of Flo's V8.
Lots and lots of detail in here. We're having so much fun with it. And then right next door to Flo's is Ramon's House of Body Art. Now Ramon in the shop, or in the movie, he can paint, he can style, he can really paint you up. So Ramon's House of Body Art is going to be beautifully done, and it's a merchandise location for us for Cars Land product. And across from Ramon's is our second attraction. We have 3 attractions in the land: Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, and in the back of Luigi's Casa de la Tires will be housed Luigi's Flying Tires. So you will pass through Luigi's showroom where all of his Fettuccine brand tires will be beautifully displayed, and you'll walk out into the back and you'll go into his tire yard, and you will be able to experience Luigi's Flying Tires.
Well, Luigi and Guido will hook up their air compressor, because they're in the tire business, and they will hook up the air compressor to the storage yard out back, and as they do that, you will literally lift up off the ground and float on air.
You're like flying on air.
Flying on air.
Now, we do have Mike up on the Tower of Terror balcony with a live video to take us into the land. Everyone, hey Mike, can you see us?
Hey Mike.
Everybody wave to Mike. He's over to the east. Hey Mike. So Mike, can you take us into the land? Let's start with the cozy homes. You will pull back. You don't get more updated than this. There they are. So we've got 3 cones framed out. Sally will have her office in front. So you'll be able to walk up to these cones, order your food, and then sit and enjoy in this beautiful courtyard that's being formed by the cones. So now let's just pan a little bit over to the, yep, perfect. There's it's the Radiator Springs Curio shop. You can see, hopefully in the sun, it's all covered in brick, sort of aged brick, and it's just a gorgeous little shop. And then if you tilt up, Mike, there we go. There's a frame for Flo's V8 Cafe, so that one day soon will look like a giant air filter. One thing about Cars Land, and not just the buildings, but also in the rock, you might start to see some hints at car shapes like hood ornaments, wheel wells, grills, and the architecture is the same way. So this is a great big air filter one of these days. Keep on going, Mike, and we'll look at, there's Luigi's Flying Tires, Luigi's Casa de la Tires building. You can see the tire finials on the top, all out of plaster. And then back behind that is the play floor. And if we just tilt up a little bit, you can see that sort of scooped shape. That is Ramon's House of Body Art buildings. That's our merchandise location. This little Radiator Springs downtown is the scale is just so wonderful. We were walking through it last night, and right here we're at the 4 corners, where all the commerce is happening. We'll have the telephone poles lining the street. We'll have the blinking light, stoplight overhead that's always on yellow.
You are there.
And at night, it will be all covered in neon, just like it is in the movie. So it is going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous land at night. But we also cannot ignore this giant mountain we've got here, this ornament valley that we're building. It's about 6 acres of hand-sculpted rock. That's what those little guys are doing up there. Is they're sculpting and painting our rocks. So they're real artisans from around the world.
There. So now we'll take you to Radiator Springs Racers. And I have to say, I've worked on a lot of projects. I'm so excited about it. This is amazing. It's huge. Out of the 12-acre Cars Land that we're building, 6 acres, as Kathy said, encompasses Radiator Springs Racers. It's going to be amazing. And so, Mike, if you can take us down to that view of the wheel well area. We learned in the film, in the bonus material at the DVD, John Lasseter tells a story about Stanley. And Stanley was the founder of Radiator Springs. And if you can just stop in that shot, that'd be wonderful. And so, as far as the story went, Stanley founded a radiator cap business when he blew his radiator cap and he found the Natural Spring Nature School. And so what we got to do as Imagineers is to continue on with that storytelling. We wanted to create a beautiful little shaded, water-filled area where you're going to wait in line to get on this attraction. And we've turned it into Stanley's Oasis. And this is the original settlement of Radiator Springs before the town grew out. And the settlement started with the Radiator Cap Shop, which you'll queue through, and it goes to a service station which Stanley built. In those days, when you changed oil, you used glass bottles. And so Stanley saved up all the glass bottles, and being the showman he was, as well as a great service technician, he built a bottle house. And so we created a roadside attraction on Route 66. That became so popular, he invented, he established the Cozy Caverns Motor Court, which is just inside that wheel well you see on the frame. And so that's where you were going to load onto a 6-passenger car character vehicle and begin this rollicking road trip through the countryside of Ornament Valley. And what's wonderful about that is it's the same, very similar road trip to what Lightning and Sally did in the film, where they go through this great archway and there's a reveal of the beautiful, glorious waterfall coming down, and you get a great view over Cars Land before you go inside the rock there, and you have an encounter with your favorite car characters from the film, beginning with Mac and several others. And I'm not going to give away the whole thing. You're going to have to come back and see it. We have lots of fun secrets in that. But one of the great moments is Mike.
Thanks,
I think
Mike.
we're time. Thanks, Mike. I think. Bye, Mike. so the first moment is. Sheriff will come out, you're speeding through the countryside, and he pulls you over. He says, "You're not racing yet. Follow Mater into town, and we'll get you ready." Well, here comes Mater, and he does what he does best, is he drives backwards, and you're following him forwards as he's inviting you to do his favorite thing, a little side trip, tractor tipping. But what happens there is you wake up Frank, and Frank chases you into town, and you go to the town of Radiator Springs, where all the residents welcome you. And we have Sally, the mayor, and Lightning welcome you to town. And Lightning will say something like, "You know, it takes more than speed to win a race. You have to have style, ka-chow." So he invites us to either go into Luigi's and have a tire change, go to Ramon's, have a little paint touch-up. From there, we go into where we meet Doc Hudson, who's our crew chief, just like he was with Lightning McQueen in the film. And we and then we go out to where we see Luigi and Guido at the start of the race with the flag. And this is where we learn we're going to race against another vehicle, another car filled with guests, just like you, just like ourselves. And so Luigi drops the flag, and we head outside, and we did, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, last summer we did a test. Some of you might know this, but we built one of our vehicles, and we put it on a track out here on site and took it around for many, many weeks just to check it out. And of course, we couldn't do that without riding it. And we rode it, and we can show you firsthand. It is fun. This race is really going to be a good one. So there's our vehicle. Each vehicle will look like it comes from the movie. It's going to look like it lives in the world. It's got a smile on its face and eyes in the windshield. It looks like a giant slot car. It's really a big slot car race. And the G-forces you get as you make these banking turns, and we have a lot of elevation changes, and all the time you're racing another car, it is really, really going to be exciting and fun. We were thrilled with it.
That Camelback hump you just saw, it is a blast. And then you go digging around the corner at Willie's Butte there, you dive down the other side, heading back into the building where we actually have a really wonderful part of Ornament Valley, which is a natural wonder called Taillight Caverns. And Taillight Caverns is not filled with stalagmites and stalagmites. It is filled with stalagmites.
Yeah.
It's filled with stalagmites, which are designed in the style of old 50s style cars. And in that scene, you come back from the race, we're going to create different ride profiles so that you will cross the finish line at different times. So you may get a different one each time you go. But when you come back into Taillight Caverns, you're welcomed back by Lightning and Mater. Well, that sounds like Mater now. Here he comes, one of the residents of Radiator Springs, the one and only Mater!
Coming through! Excuse me! Coming through! Excuse me!
Hey, Mater!
Hey, buddy!
All right, Mater, you've been tipping tractors, and we've been building Cars Land.
Well, that sounds like fun, too. Exactly what I was thinking.
And you know, Mater, we can't wait for 2012 when we get to open Cars Land. But you know, in the meantime, thanks for dropping by. It's great to see
Thanks,
you.
buddy!
All right, thanks, Mater.
Everybody say goodbye to Mater.
So we look forward to seeing you again next year when we open up Cars Land. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President Worldwide Operations, Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, Al Weiss.
Well, hello everyone. I'm excited to be here today to tell you about some of the plans we have for Disney Cruise Line in 2012. We've had a very exciting year so far with the launch of our third ship, the Disney Dream. The Dream joins the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder, which is now based right here on the West Coast. Yeah. Innovative guest experiences are a hallmark of Disney Cruise Line, a tradition we proudly extended to our newest ship. You may have heard about Aqueduct, the first ever shipboard water coaster. It is a blast. Our magical portholes for inside staterooms, or the Buccaneer Blast Deck Party, featuring the only fireworks spectacular at sea. Now we're prepared to offer more opportunities for guests to enjoy Disney Cruise Vacation as we get ready to welcome our fourth ship. The Disney Fantasy will set sail from Port Canaveral, Florida on her maiden voyage in March with week-long trips to the Caribbean. The Fantasy will feature many of the innovative elements you'll find aboard the Dream, but with a few surprising twists that will give the ship a unique identity all of its own. One of the most exciting enhancements we're making to the Disney Fantasy is animation magic, and it's an experience at Animators Palate. This restaurant celebrates the art of animation with images of classic Disney and Disney Pixar characters. The best part is that we will invite our guests to draw their own animated characters. Then, with a bit of Disney magic, guest drawings come to life as fully animated figures. The drawings will even join scenes from Disney movies and dance side by side with characters such as Jiminy Cricket, Cinderella, and Snow White. It's going to be unlike anything anyone has ever seen. For adults, the Disney Fantasy will offer a new collection of sophisticated bars and lounges that will take adults on a journey all across Europe. Guests will be able to watch live sporting events in an Irish bar or relax in an elegant French-inspired lounge. And the Tube will be a vibrant metropolitan club reminiscent of the London Underground with mod furniture and a Union Jack dance floor. For the younger set, we'll open the first Bippity Boppity Boutique on the high seas. Young princesses can get pixie-dusted makeovers, and landlubbers of any age can be transformed into pirates. Like the other ships in our fleet, the Disney Fantasy will feature the Walt Disney Theater, where guests can enjoy the best in original live musicals. Now the Fantasy, new to the Fantasy, is going to be Disney's Aladdin. It's a musical spectacular. The show features Genie and the cast from Aladdin in a show inspired by the long-running favorite right here at Disney California Adventure. The Fantasy is going to be another amazing ship deserving of the Disney name. With the Dream and the Fantasy sailing out of Port Canaveral in 2012, the Magic and the Wonder can embark on new voyages from other great home ports. I'm proud to be here to tell you personally that the Disney Wonder will once again return to the Port of Los Angeles next year. The ship will embark on fall, winter, and early spring sailings before heading to Alaska for the summer. And for next year's Alaska season, the Disney Wonder will set sail from a new home port in Seattle. The ship will visit Skagway, Juneau, and Ketchikan, as well as a new stop in Victoria, British Columbia. Meanwhile, the Disney Magic is setting its sights on New York City. Starting in May of next year, guests will be able to sail on a variety of itineraries, including cruises to the Bahamas. The ship will spend a day in Port Canaveral, Florida, and guests will even get tickets to enjoy the Walt Disney World theme parks. Guests will be able to travel from Disney to the Big Apple, from the Big Apple up the New England coast to Canada, another first ever itinerary for Disney Cruise Line. These cruises will call on Halifax, Nova Scotia, and St. John, New Brunswick. In the fall, the Disney Magic will head to the port of Galveston in Texas, where it will set sail to the Western Caribbean, stopping in Grand Cayman, Costa Maya, and Cozumel. We couldn't be more thrilled with the reaction we've received from our guests about our new ship and new itineraries. As you can see, there'll be more magic afloat in 2012 than ever in the history of Disney Cruise Line. Thanks everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.